Guten Morgen. Oh, it's not morning where you are? Doesn't matter. I'm German. We like being early. And this isn't your by-the-book publication either. Since I am here, I am not going to settle for a forgettable review. I know you're an Indian motorcyclist seeking different things from me, and I know I will find 3 very different motorcyclists here at PowerDrift. Where else would you find the painter, the wanderer, and the maniac, eh? Now, on to the review of the Bayerische Motorenwerke F450 GS you have been waiting for. He has been waiting for this moment. I know what he's going to say. I know
You've been waiting for this. A story that was incomplete, but is now waiting to be told.
Willkommen to PowerDrift.
Every motorcycle starts its life in the city from a parking lot. Having said that, the first thing that you will notice when you get going with the F450 GS is the ERC. The point where the system engages is 2700 RPM, and in my eye that should have been at a lower RPM because that feeling would have felt a lot more natural. Here it almost feels like you're burning the clutch trying to go ahead. 2200 RPM is where it just would have felt right.
Doubting German engineering? Should I ask him for his engineering degree? He could be right, so.
The second most important thing is the meat of this matter, this engine. Now, it's a twin engine that does not make a crazy amount of horsepower that will make you shit your pants.
Sprache, Varun.
It's nice, friendly, comfortable, but that also makes me question, is it a boring engine in the city? It certainly is not, because it gets a very meaty mid-range punch, and that is something that people will enjoy whenever they ride this motorcycle. And it's also an engine that will keep you happy for a really long time. And since we are talking about the engine, let's talk about heating too. Yes, you will feel some dissipation on your shins, but it's not something that's going to bother you. It's not a furnace. It is hot, but it's not a furnace.
That's called optimal operating temperature, Varun.
I would also like to say that the throttle response is pretty much on point, but that same feeling is not there with the gearbox. I have absolutely no complaints how the quick shifter functions. Never had a misshift. But it's just the feeling of going up and down the gearbox that could have been smoother. And since we are talking about the gearbox, here's some good news. This is a very tractable mode. So even if you're at a higher gear at lower speeds, get on the gas, the mid-range kicks in, and you're gonna be left smiling. Last but not the least, here are a couple of things that I am not too happy about. The first is the ergonomic package for the city, specifically for the city, because it's a tall motorcycle. So if you're a short rider and your commute involves stop and go traffic, a test ride is highly recommended.
He's just making fun of you, short riders.
The second thing that I want to talk about is the ERC. I know we have been going around in circles, but it's important to talk about it. When you take tight U-turns, you have to be heavy on the gas. And I've said this in the past with other new technology pieces, it takes a while getting used to. But when you get used to it, that's the only time it will start to feel natural. There is a hack. Don't buy a version which has ERC. Buy something where you have manual control over the clutch. I think that's a safer bet. But even if you end up buying the ERC version, please make sure you spend some time with it before you actually start enjoying it.
What he means to say is, Pele iste mal kare, fir vishwas karen.
Oh, and the important question, how does it handle the roads of today? Well, let me just show you. Going through a bad patch of road. The feeling is firm, but I feel it's so nicely balanced that you will just go over all of these things without any problem. I think they've nailed it. Sure, a lot of things seem rosy for the GS in the city, but I feel it can do a lot more.
I was parked for the day and then I thought, you humans suffer from homesickness. How terribly fragile. I was suffering from fernweh. Yeah, we have a word for it. The longing to go far away places. So, the city was still fast asleep. Me and the wanderer were already out on the loose. But erst tanken, dann fahren. Whether I have a drinking problem or not, you will get to know later.
The only time I don't eat caffeine in the morning to wake me up is when I'm out on a motorcycle. And this German brew has certainly done the job because look at it go! Here's a life lesson for you guys. Keep your expectations in check, and if you do that, the GS will impress you. Now my reference points when it comes to twin-cylinder motorcycles in this particular price bracket are the Royal Enfield 650s and the Aprilia 457 twins. When it comes to the excitement factor, the GS, it slots itself right in the middle. It goes like there's an angry KTM behind it, and it pulls with more youthful eagerness as compared to the nonchalant Royal Enfields, but still it feels a bit restrained as compared to the ride-inducing Aprilias, which is fine. I mean, it is a BMW, it is a different engine.
Ah, someone finally gets it.
If you have any previous memories of the baby GS, the G310 GS, just forget about them. Sure, the F450 GS might be a bit linear according to my taste because there is no spike in the rev band, but is it slow and uninteresting? Oh hell no! Touring perspective? Oh, we are just starting, ladies and gentlemen.
Moments after saying that, the grand touring machine of Munich was brought to a grinding halt because someone wanted boiled leaves. Unglaublich.
As much as I'm addicted to touring, I'm also addicted to these random chai stops. Do I know him? No. क्या मैं उनके साथ फिर भी मस्ती करूँगा? Absolutely. I might not know him, but I'm starting to know and like the GS, especially how it feels from the saddle. The display, the switchgear, all reminiscent of the godfather of all the ADVs, the R1300 GS. It feels big, it feels premium, it feels BMW. Look at her, just yearning to go. So, shall we?
Endlich. I was beginning to think we had adopted the Chaiwala.
Let's get something out of the way. The BMW F450 GS might be an adventure tourer, but its tourer persona remains in the spotlight. And one of the most basic requirements from a good tourer motorcycle is that it should keep the wanderer comfortable enough to ride all day long, pitch a tent in the night, and then ride again the next morning. And that is exactly what we are going to do. In that regard, the GS, it feels like a chariot and the world your kingdom, because the handlebar is tilted towards the rider, not away from you, and you are sitting inside the motorcycle, exactly how you're supposed to sit in a good adventure tourer. But this chariot might not be as refined as you think it is.
Achtung, everyone! The expert is about to speak.
As an Indian motorcyclist, we often have a very wrong perception towards twin-cylinder motorcycles. They are not buttery smooth as compared to say a Japanese inline 4, but compared to a single cylinder screamer, the GS, it definitely feels more refined. Vibrations, they do start creeping in at around 6,500 RPM in the lower gears, but they do calm down a bit in the higher gears. And talking about the cruising speed, this motorcycle can do 120 to 130 kilometers per hour all day long, with the engine sitting at 6,000 to 7,000 RPM in the top gear at around 120 kilometers per hour. So yeah, it is a very capable tourer in that regard. I just wish that the engine, it felt a little more settled because it always acts and sounds busy.
I have a feeling he's going to rant even more. But when Jux?
Ethanol, electric vehicles, ERC. Why does everyone want to stuff something down our throats? Give us a choice, no? And that is my biggest disappointment with the BMW F450 GS. I want adjustable suspension, but I don't want the ERC. And the only variant to offer this mix is the sport variant, which is not being offered in India. Sure, this is a cool tech, this ERC, but does it work in Indian conditions? I don't think so. Sure, it is nice not having to build your hand muscles because someone else is taking care of the action part. Yeah, that came out wrong.
Typisch PowerDrift. These boys really don't care about the censorship boards, do they?
But we are not going to let all of these pointers spoil the beautiful day that we are having. We have got places to be. How about a detour? But before we do that, the GS wanted a drink, but it does not seem to have a drinking problem. And now we ride.
Since it is a GS, which basically means Gelandstrabe, Gelandstrap, Gelab, screw that. It basically means off-road and on-road in German. So it has to be fun and stable around corners, right? And it is! This is where the 19-inch front makes sense, so much sense, because the way that the GS dances around corners, it wouldn't be wrong if we say that this is probably best in the business. The stock suspension setup is obviously set up towards on the firmer side, but will it break your balls? No! It feels taut, but well behaved.
Yes, well behaved. Unlike your choice of vocabulary, mein Freund.
The tires too, they grip well around corners. The wet grip, I don't know. It hasn't rained so far. And God, it shouldn't rain because I'm having fun. So much fun. And if I do get carried away having fun, the GS can also stop on a dime because the front brake is really nice. The bite is very powerful, but it is also going to bite you in your pocket. But who cares? I don't!
Staring at the stars tonight, all that he formed and broken apart a trillion times.
But I do care about scenic places like this. Go ahead, ditch that highway. Take those detours because this country is more beautiful than you think it is. And the GS is smarter than you think it is. Look at these mounting points. So thoughtful. Thanks for thinking about me.
I am flattered, but don't touch me like that.
Nothing ever ends.
But at the end of the day, it is a BMW. So some quirky bits. No cruise control, but you have got heated grips here. And I have some quirky bits too. I was supposed to pitch my tent somewhere else, but I like this place very much.
Shifting into something new, broken and built up again, but kept the soul.
I feel elated at the moment, seeing it parked here, out in the wild, away from you, away from everyone else. You think isolation makes you crazy? Maybe you haven't tried a solo motorcycle expedition. It makes you feel alive every day. And tomorrow, we are going to live a bit more.
I will not sure about you.
never sleeps. The maniac arises.